All right, y'all, we're going to take a look at this boudoir photography business today. Going to take a look at its, high intent Google searches that boudoir buyers are searching. See if it has BSS and see if we're meeting the GBC recommended minimum of hitting 3 out of 10 page one Google slots. So we're back here in the GBC universe where we take declining boudoir photographers, bring them to help them become the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. Our North Star, as always, is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that, whatever, pinned video, home video, whatever. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. If we're capturing everyone across the entire intent spectrum, business is probably rising. If we're missing people, not getting enough people, business is probably falling. So on the left side, that's what we talk about here, BSS. We're focusing on the highest intent people. This is people searching for boudoir, photo shoots on social search, Google search, things like that, like directly typing it and searching it. And way at the other end, we got our other brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, talking about BLCS. And that's where right now we are only working with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month in boudoir Facebook ads. All right, now we're into BSS, Boudoir Search Sameness. That's what our whole video is about. We're going to see this when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 slots on Google, on page 1 of Google, dead, because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never go to page 2. So that we can't have that. That's a quick path to our boudoir photography business totally disappearing on us. If we got 1 slot on page 1 of Google, still not good, because every other boudoir photographer also has 1 slot, which means anyone searching is gonna click through everyone's, contact everyone, get a get quotes from everyone, and that means probably 9 other competitors gonna be on page 1 on Google because organic slots are there's 10 of them. And here we teach the GBC minimum of 3. We actually want to get 3 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google, kind of minimum that we feel that would guarantee we're treading water. We're most likely not disappearing, not declining, or at least treading water, maybe even growing. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. It's extremely common. Everyone accepts it as normal, but it's not normal. Having that few number of slots on page 1, not normal, is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. There's 2 deeper root causes, which most people know about. The first one, market saturation. Second one, the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses, is the false belief of page 1 equality. So first, market saturation. Yeah, that's seems like new boudoir photographers entering the market every single week. Get a new iPhone, they're starting off their Google My Business profile, saying they have for boudoir shoots, throwing their website up, kind of chalking up the page 1 Google search, making it more crowded. Or they get a new camera, they're posting them, the mom group saying they now offer boudoir photo shoots. So that's market saturation. But the number one killer and silent killer boudoir photography businesses I've seen is this false belief of page 1 equality. So that is when we actually believe it's normal to have either 0 or 1 slots on page 1. Every boudoir photographer gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1. That's how it is. And we got more market saturation. Okay, my 1 slot on page 1 is now 0 slots on page 1, 1 slot on page 2. Well, what can you do? Everyone gets 0 or 1 slots on page 1. Wrong, incorrect. I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 in 10 days. I took as many slots as I wanted using the solution we're going to talk about here. And I feel like people have not looked for a solution or a way to solve this because they didn't even know they were implicitly agreeing with the page 1 false belief of page 1 equality. I feel like most people didn't even know that this belief existed. They kind of just, I don't know, auto accepted it, maybe didn't have the words for it. but it's actually a false belief. Now, a boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer. Because if we're on, dude, if we're on page 2 or later of Google, we already know approximately 80% of searchers never seen us. So yeah, we're definitely disappearing. If we only got one slot on page 1, we're also disappearing because there's 9 other slots, probably 9 other competing boudoir photographers. Everyone's going to click through. We're being price shopped against everyone, blah, blah, blah. And so this is kind of the canary in the coal mine to, if this is occurring, eventually the entire boudoir photography business is going to disappear. So we got a solution. BSS is treated with social search saturation, our S-cubed methodology. We invented this, been working on it for about 7 months, finally bringing it to market. And again, this is what I use to go from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google in 10 days. And this is the only thing I've actually seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation. But to use it, we first got to crush the false belief of page 1 equality. So if we accept that as false, then we can use the solution to fight back against market saturation. And it's right in the name, social search saturation. So we're going to saturate social search with the highest intent keywords. And as a result, people, they'll basically only find us when they search for the highest intent keywords for a boudoir photographer, boudoir photo shoot in their city. And as a result of ranking for those on all the social search engines, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, then that flows and ranks us on higher chance page 1 on Google. And let's say we got a million boudoir photographers and we're in Austin, Texas. A million boudoir photographers in Austin, Texas. Everyone's got a website. Everyone's ranking, but we turn S-cubed methodology up to the max. And dude, we're ranking the first 300 slots of, boudoir photo shoot in Austin on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Flow, and that flows. We're ranking the first 300 slots on Google. So it's literally the first 30 pages because 10 organic slots per page. It literally doesn't matter. Those 999,999 other boudoir photographers, people can basically only ever find us. Our business will be growing fine. If people gotta go page 31 on Google search to find another boudoir, another boudoir photographer in our city, we're probably gonna get most of the business, if not all of it, or approximately all of it. So this is the power, kind of half the power of S-cubed methodology. Some more bonus stuff about it at the end. Now, once treated with S-cubed methodology, we have page 1 visibility. So we got more than 2. Well, we got 2 or more. Well, at least we don't have 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. We prefer to hit the GBC minimum of 3 out of 10 slots. But for every extra slot we get, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page 1 entirely, effectively making them invisible. Because remember, we're focusing on the 80% here, the approximately 80% that do not go to page 2 of Google search. They're page 1 only peeps. So kicking a competitor off, they effectively become invisible to 80% of searchers, the bulk of the market. And page 1 visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. And a boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility is a visible boudoir photographer. So this is our universe here. A disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by market saturation and page 1, the false belief of page 1 equality. That's fine. We now have a solution, S-cubed methodology. And we achieve page 1 visibility and become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. And that's simply starting the momentum. Can continue the momentum as long as one wants. And, potentially turn this into page 1 domination. So this is my most recent foray into this strategy. I'm going to rank for the term BLCS boudoir. And AI overview, that's not me. Then we got the Google Map Pack. But here we're looking at the organic. So organic slot 1, Instagram me, or organic slot 2, Instagram me, organic slot 3, me, slot 4, me, slot 5, me, slot 6, me, slot 7, me, slot 8, me, slot 10, me. So I got 9 out of 10 slots, went from 0 out of 10 slots to 9 out of 10 slots in 10 days. Who's someone coming to if they're searching BLCS Boudoir? That's right, most likely only me. I got 90% of these slots. And for someone to like catch me, they would have to catch up to me with what I'm doing daily and exceed me what I'm doing daily to even have a chance to start kind of breaking in here. Now into the main event here. Going to see this boudoir photography business, see how the search is looking for the local and city search. Actually, they're both in this case. See if we got BSS, yes or no. See if we're in the GBC recommended minimum 3 out of 10 slots paid on Google, or let's hit it, Bellingham, Washington. All right, so let's see what we got. Let's see. All right, so we do got one. Boom, we got one. All right, we got one. So we got 1 out of 10. And city's always the hardest one to rank for. So we got 1 out of 10. That's good. But we got BSS. We got boudoir search sameness. We also got we're not hitting the GBC recommended amount. 3 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've done your local searches, your city searches for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your areas, and you're saying you have BSS for at least one of those searches, or you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots page 1 of Google search for at least one of those searches, and you've accepted that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, and Google actually will give us and wants to give us as many page 1 slots on Google as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And you've been looking for some like SQ methodology. SQ methodologies, your one path forward that you can see that'll actually help you, get all these slots. And you like the initial benefits, more slots page 1 Google search, and you really like kicking your competing boudoir photographers off page 1 Google search, effectively making them invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. You like those. You also understand the market saturation. Yeah, more peeps become boudoir photographers over time. Okay, yeah, who doesn't know that? But you're thinking ahead and you're being like, man, AI is taking more and more peeps jobs. Last time that happened, COVID, and people lost their jobs, but people still had to earn money. So everyone's got a high-powered smartphone, ultra-powered camera. So tons of peeps became boudoir photographers then. So you're like, oh no, there's actually going to be more and more and more boudoir photographers entering the marketplace because they lost their jobs, still got to earn money. Way above and on top of the people that are simply naturally are upgrading their gear. So you're actually realizing, man, I actually got to fortify my position on page 1, and I have like so many page 1 links that Google is ranking me for on page 1 that Google actually runs out and starts putting my page 1 worthy links to force them to start filling out page 2, 3, and 4. And you need to fortify because you actually got to keep current competing boudoir photographers from ever ranking page 1 Google search, and as also any new boudoir photographers that come in losing their job due to AI, remember ranking page 1 Google search. So you got to fortify your position, like fortifying those levees down in Nolens, Louisiana. And so you're liking that future benefit, kind of fortification. You want to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need these things on your way to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. You also understand XQ and SQ methodology correctly every single day. We're actually throwing up basically creating invisible thematic keyword columns in our brand, kind of attached, plugged into our brand. And as a result, we're building up this like massive back end AI keyword mindshare with all these highest intent Boudoir keywords plugged into our brand. So every new day we execute this, we get the benefits of higher probability being recommended here, AI overview right at the top, most premium organic placement on Google search or any search, whoever's using Bing search out there, and also increasing the probability that AI apps recommend us in parallel. ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, they all run on the same backend thematic keyword kind of mindshare system, where it's looking at repetition, relevance, age, authority with all these different keywords. And you know that AI searches, dude, it's getting larger and larger, more and more and more every single day. And so, like in those feature benefits, and actually last time I did AI search with wall photographers in the city, it was a ChatGPT, and dude, it returned me 3. When I did a manual search, Google search, manual Facebook search, I found like 60. So it's like, man, we gotta get these slots any way possible. And you're seeing SQ methodology is the only thing that kind of enables the speedy creation of these invisible thematic keyword columns compared to any other solution out there. You also like the future benefit, building a large, well-known brand, approximately 8x faster than normal methods, or methods everyone else is using, because we're doing much higher volume across many more surfaces. And you also understand that since my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city, you also like that you have a chance to get all these benefits and prevent all your competitors from getting these benefits. So you can actually build up a massive backlog of page one worthy links ahead of your competitors and build up massive backend AI keyword mindshare, again, ahead of all your competitors. Basically make a big gap between all your current competitors and future competitors as AI takes their job, and kind of in preparation for that. And well, I mean, it's already happening already. And because of that, you decided to be first mover in your city, adopt this technology, be the first one so you can box everyone else out, because you understand the converse is if one of your competing boudoir photographers in your city signs on with me to use this first, then you're actually going to be, well, in order for you to compete, you're going to have to increase, or actually for first, you'd have to rederive S-cube methodology for yourself. Well, actually derive it for the first time for yourself. And you would never actually be 100% confident you've derived it correctly, because we're the ones that invented it. And as a result of that, you'd be, you then have to equal our execution every single day in order to, and that would happen after that is you would maintain the gap that we currently have ahead of you, me and your competitor. So to make any headway, you'd actually have to double or triple our execution every single day. And in order for you to do that, well, you still wouldn't be even 100% confident executing this strategy, because you wouldn't be 100% confident you've correctly derived SQ methodology in the first place. And you'd be looking at all this and be like, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to do all this stuff? And so you realize all that, and you decide, oh, screw that. You're simply going to be the first mover in your city, because this opportunity is too good to pass up. And so if that's you, shoot us a DM. Hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, so even if you want to work with us, you cannot. But when the hospital does open for new patient intake, shoot us a DM, and we will see if you qualify for utilizing our S-cubed methodology.